the wages reached millions of pesos. I was able to watch billiard games within the stock, a fun stock of 1,000 pesos bills were just placed on top of the billiard table, and after the games were just carelessly thrown around. I know for a fact that the drug trade inside the new Bilibid prison is still alive and well inside the medium security compound. When the PNP Special Action Force took over the security of maximum security compound, the drug trade was simply transferred to medium security compound, wherein it is extremely convenient for the drug lord to sell shabu. This is possible because it is the prison guard themselves who bring in the drugs and pass them to the drug lords incarcerated therein. Four of them are even known as the Innova Boys because of the Toyota Innova units given to them by the drug lords inmates. I am also much aware of the big-time Yale discreet drug lords inside the NBP who are known to the authorities and the public. They are Ben Marcelo, alias Ben Ulo, Willie Yang, Robert Lee, Ang Si, Willie Ang, Sam Lee Chua, and many others in fact. Nonilo Arili is very much close to Sam Lee Chua. Knowing the circulation of huge amount of money inside the NBP, I firmly believe that Sam Lee Chua was indeed in possession of 65 million pesos in cash inside his kubul merely week before the December 15, 2014 raid inside the NBP maximum security compound. It also not impossible that amount even more than 60 million pesos has gone missing. I am executing this affidavit to attest the truthfulness and veracity of the foregoing facts and circumstances. In witness whereof, I hear to affix my signature this
Okay na yan,
day.
okay na po yan. Okay na po yan. Affidavit, nasa record naman po yan. So, maraming salamat. We will now go to our...
Last witness.
Bakit? Kala ko, meron pang si Ragos. Si Ragos. Hindi, baka hindi na natin kaya.
Siguro isa na lang...
kasi meron pa si General Bucayo at Villasanta. No? So anyway...
If we could just for the last witness, because we have some more, pero ngayon, today, isa na lang muna, si Colonel Marcelino.
Okay, ano po ba ang purpose for which you are presenting Mr. Marcelino? Kasi may mga issue po, may mga objection. If you have heard some members of the committee, there are objections to his presentation as a witness, to his immunity. But then again, under our rules, the testimony must be germane to the subject matter of House Resolution 105. So, kung yan po ay hindi para sa 105, as the majority floor leader said, there are other committees that can take cognizance of this testimony so that we can abbreviate and or hasten the conduct of this inquiry, and we will let the other committees do their jobs. So, pakisabi po kung ano yung purpose ng kanyang testimonya so that the committee can rule whether or not he ought to be and should be heard in this legislative inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alam po ninyo, yung pong testify ni Colonel Marcelino is very, very relevant and as a matter of fact, very important. Kasi nung pong bago po mag-testify si General Benji Bangalong nung unang hearing ay nung po lamang namin na pagdugtong-dugtong kung bakit yung 19 lamang ang pinadala sa NBI at hindi kasama doon si JB Sebastian. Kaya po ito po, bilang si Colonel Marcelino po ay ipipresenta namin upang sabihin niya na siya ay parte as a representative ng PDEA kasi nagkaroon ng parang memorandum of agreement between PDEA and CADG as well as DOJ na umaasa itong dalawang police agencies na ito, PDEA and CIDG, na itutuloy nila yung pag-raid sa Bilibid. Naghintay po sila at according to the testimony of General Magalong ay handang-handa na po sila at sinasabi niya kay Secretary de Lima kung kailan nila itutuloy. Pero ang sabi ni Secretary de Lima ay meron pa raw siyang gagawing meeting sa ilang matataas na mga tao. Pero nagulat itong mga ito sapagkat according to General Magalong, nag-conduct ng raid si Secretary de Lima nang hindi nalalaman ng PDEA at ng CIDG. So yan po ang role ni Colonel Marcelino at meron po siyang attendance sheet na ipapakita na nagpapatotoo na siya ay siyang naging representative doon ng PDEA. So, yan pong napakahalagang evidensyang yan na sinasabi ko nga na after General Magalong testified na doble ang lakas nung if ever kung criminal case man ito ng case ng prosecution. Sapagkat noon lamang namin nakita na kaya pala itong 19 lamang ang pinadala sa NBI ay upang masolo ni Sebastian ang drug trade inside the New Bilibid. So yan po ang testifyan ni Colonel Marcelino. So I believe that it's very relevant, very important for this hearing.
Mr. Chairman,
General
may we know, Mr. Chairman,
May-
whether...
Sandali lang. Si General Acop raise his hand.
Mr. Chair, Congressman Ace Barbers objected a while ago, and I was not given the opportunity to object also. And I would like to state that I am also objecting to the presentation of Colonel Marcelino in this hearing. Number one, if you read the enumeration of statements that he has in his affidavit, it is not germane to the issue at hand. Number two, as stated by the Honorable Barbers, may kaso po ito doon. I think he filed a motion for reconsideration insofar as the decision of the DOJ is concerned. Number three, yun pong 19, yung rason, the reason why there were only 19 inmates who were separated, ay masasagot po siguro ng mga nagplano ng Oplan Galugad. And these people are here present today, this afternoon, Mr. Chair. Si Director Frank Bucayo and General Villasanta. As stated by General Magalong before, ang belief niya, ang nagplano ay si General Bucayo, si General Villasanta, and General Garbo. That was the last information that we got from General Magalong. So I object, Mr. Chair, to the presentation of Colonel Marcelino as a resource person in this hearing, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Addition lang po to, in addition to what the Congressman Acop has stated earlier, in support of the objections which I raised earlier. In deference to the good secretary, I've been reading yung kanyang affidavit, no, yung kay Colonel Marcelino. In fact, yung kanyang affidavit speaks of nothing about that testimony that the good secretary has mentioned. If I am to assess the value of the affidavit of Colonel Marcelino, it is nothing but a curriculum vitae or a resume of of Colonel Marcelino. Kasi sinabi lang niya doon yung kanyang accomplishment nung siya ay nasa PIDEA, etc., etc. I would like to support as well the manifestation of General Acop insofar as getting the valuable testimony of Marcelino is concerned. Siguro ilipat na lang dali na lang natin sa ibang komite. Doon sa Committee of Public Order and my committee. Which I will probably be a joint hearing between our two committees.
Thank you for that, General.
In order to abbreviate our hearings for today. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Barbers. Before the Vice Chair, si Congressman Garbin.
thank you, Mr. Chair. May we know whether Colonel Marcelino did file a copy of his written statement to the Secretariat without prejudice to the manifestation and objection of Congressman Ace Barber and Congressman Acop? May we also be furnished of that affidavit so that for our own appreciation.
Yan.
Yeah.
So, yun yung isang problema natin. Anyway, we can share this to the committee. Pwede na siguro. Pero, let me just go back to kay Congressman Acop and Congressman Ace, no? Would you like to convert your manifestation into a motion so that we can resolve this issue immediately?
Mr. Chairman, before we resolve that issue, we should also be furnish copies of those so that we
Hindi.
will know.
Okay,
Of the
hindi naman po
affidavit.
natin pipigilin yung pero probably not in this hearing because there are objections to the presentation of this particular witness
Mr.
in this
Chairman,
hearing.
then we cannot resolve whether the objection, because how will we vote on it if we do not
Wala
know?
pa rin hong motion na manifestation pa lang.
You
That's
are
why
asking for the
I was
motion.
asking either Congressman Acop and or Congressman Barbers if they would like to convert into a motion yung kanilang manifestation.
Before that, Mr.
Before
Chairman.
that, Vice Chair is recognized.
Mr. Chairman,
Bigyan niyo na.
I really would like also to hear the testimony of Marcelino, but since there is an assurance that this can be treated in another committee, I can forgo with that. More importantly, Mr. Chairman, in the affidavit of Bukayo, General Bukayo, he stated in paragraph 19 that it was Secretary of Justice who decided not to inform CIDG about it. And number two, this testimony of witness Bukayo is corroborated by the September 30, 2016 affidavit of Arili, paragraph 10, where he also said hindi natuloy ito dahil pinigil ni DOJ Secretary De Lima. So with this, I think I have been making notes on the admissions in the respective affidavits so that for purposes of preparation of report, easily refer to the paragraphs mentioned in the affidavits of the witnesses. So I think, I don't know if you will still proceed with the motion, Your Honor.
Anyway, maraming salamat, Vice Chair. No? Pero actually, for the sake of transparency, let me inform Secretary Aguirre that I talked personally to this witness, Marcelino, who came voluntarily to my office and told me personally he does not want to be subjected or to be a witness to this hearing. So anyway, that is for your information why you are insisting on him despite the presence of General Bukayo, General Magalong, and many others who have more things to reveal to us is just it haunts me. So anyway, do I hear a motion to dispense with the testimony of Marcelino, who wishes, who DOJ wants to be presented in today's hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt verbatim what you just said. And I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Any second to the motion? So, any objection to the motion? There being none, the testimony of Marcelino is hereby dispensed with. Let him appear before the appropriate committee of the House, subject to the referral to be made by the Rules Committee and the Majority Floor Leader. So, so ordered.
Mr. Chairman, just a short interjection.
Thank you.
I'd just
okay.
like to take this opportunity to inform the DOJ and to ask, if not not to reprimand Attorney Acosta, because in several occasions on several news forums, I've seen Attorney Acosta with Colonel Marcelino. Ang point lang ho dun, may kaso ho nasa DOJ under MR. And they've been discussing merits of this case. I'm afraid that this might be used as basis for sub judice. Kaya let me just inform the good PAO chief to refrain from speaking about the merits of the case in all their media appearances, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you for that. May I request, may I give this opportunity
Chair.
for...
Mr. Chair, para minsanan na lang po.
sige po,
May we
Congressman
know
Akop.
also who is the lawyer of Colonel Marcelino?
Are you in a position to answer that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sige,
The
please.
private lawyers, I think Manalo withdrawn from his case and were furnished of the withdrawal. And under our law, in the executive of the service, the PAO may be called upon by government authorities to render such service to other persons. Nasa PAO Luho yan, Republic Act 9406. So anybody who has an urgent need, because his case was already dismissed by the DOJ, and his motion or petition for bail was granted by RTC Quezon City. And upon motion for reconsideration by the PIDEA, the past individuals during the past administration, it was recently granted on last week, I think. The following day, Senator De Lima had a press con about Marcelino. So Marcelino, out of urgency, he will be incarcerated right away if we won't file an omnibus motion for suspension of the arrest,
So,
suspension
can you
of the...
go straight to the point? You
Yes, sir.
are the lawyer of
The Public
Marcelino.
Attorney's Office, Your Honor. Anybody can ask for
Okay,
help
so the,
in
the
urgent
PAO,
cases.
no,
Yes, Your Honor.
upon your direction is
Yes, Your Honor.
the lawyer, okay?
Yes,
But
Your Honor.
there is another manifestation.
Mr. Chair,
are you
may
done?
if I remember the law creating the PAO, ang una po niyong kliyente ay indigent. At kung hindi indigent, yung korte po ang mag-uutos na PAO ang maging lawyer. May I know if there's a court order for the PAO to act as the lawyer of Marcelino?
There is no court order yet because he has not yet been arraigned, Your Honors. That's why we filed a motion for suspension of arraignment and suspension of the issuance of the warrant because the court in RTC has already rendered a decision that the evidence of the
Okay
prosecution is
po.
weak.
So,
So hindi lang
again,
po indigent ang aming kliyente. Pwede po kami kahit congressman
okay,
biglang kinulong.
naintindihan na po namin yun.
Opo.
As head of PAO and reading the mandate of PAO, Attorney Acosta has taken it upon herself to decide that PAO should provide the legal assistance. So that's done. But anyway, meron pa po, ano po yung Chairman Ace, ano po yung hinihiling kay Attorney Acosta?
Mr. Chairman, hinihiling ko lang na in all the appearances of Colonel Marcelino and Attorney Acosta in all the media forums that are available, sana ho they refrain from discussing the merits of the case because there are instances where I personally saw Attorney Acosta speaking about the merits of the case of the Colonel Marcelino. So yun lamang po. This is
So,
just a reminder.
anyway, we don't need-
Otherwise, I will have to move, Mr. Chairman, that we reprimand. If she insists on talking about this issue again and again and again, I have no, and I will be compelled to ask the committee to reprimand
Okay.
the good attorney. That's
Thank
all,
you.
Madam Chair.
Siguro, this does not need an explanation, Attorney Acosta. Please be guided accordingly para po yung ating proceeding ay mas maging mabilis. Dahil mas gusto po ng taong maalaman kung ano pa yung mga mas importanteng bagay that perhaps can be shared by General Bucayo. No? So at this point in time, may we just recognize, may we just acknowledge the presence of Congressman Noel. So magandang hapon, welcome to this. Siguro, since the issue has been brought to fore already, and since General Bucayo is here, we might as well ask General Bucayo to now give his may statement ba siya? Sinumpang salaysay? Yes. Okay, so dahil you are not the witness of DOJ, then the committee will now ano daw? Will now pursue the matter directly, through the sino bang in charge dito? Okay, pero okay, so may we now recognize General Bukayo, who I would like to inform the body also volunteered to be present because of the mention of his name. And under our rules, in fact, anong rule yan? Section 10, ito po, rights and duties of persons affected by a hearing. Where applicable, any person named in a public hearing or in the released record of testimonies given in executive sessions who has not been previously so named shall, within a reasonable time thereafter, be notified of such fact by registered letter, return receipt requested to the address of such person last known to the committee. The notice shall include, etc. Any person so notified who believes that one's character or reputation was adversely affected may, within 7 days upon receipt of said notice, communicate with the secretary of the committee and or request to appear in person before the committee in public session and give testimony at the expense of the concerned person. This he did, and in response to thereto, the committee has deemed it appropriate for him to be invited to this inquiry pursuant to an invitation we issued last week. No? So, together with General Villasanta, who also has may have some revelations on this very same point that the Department of Justice would want this committee to appreciate. No? So, at this juncture, General Bukayo, you're now recognized.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, we have read the statement of General Bukayo, and this sworn statement is just a general denial. It does not even give us an inkling of what is happening inside the Bilibid. It is all general denials. So what is he going to testify now?
That is precisely the reason why we called him in, and that members have the freedom to interpellate him on those points that he may not have divulged in his sworn statement. So this will give the opportunity to everyone to interpolate and or cross-examine General Bukayo on those points that this committee may find necessary for the guidance of the committee in rendering its report.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Acop, and then
I will yield to the beautiful gentle lady from Cebu, Mr. Chair.
Congresswoman Garcia.
I like the handsome chairperson of the Committee on Public
Mutual
Order
Admiration
and
Club.
Safety. Mr. Chair, I did hear that we are precisely going to present General Bukayo so that the congressmen and women can now start interpellating him. But I would understand our process here is that we listen to all the persons to be presented by the DOJ before the interpellation of the respective representatives shall start. And so I do agree with my colleague that having read the affidavit of General Bukayo, there really is nothing substantial that should be taken into consideration, and there is no addition to the already mountain of testimonies that we have been listening to.
Mr.
Chair.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair.
Please,
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Acop, then Congressman Lechon. Vice
I-
Chair Lechon.
I would like to disagree with my esteemed colleague from Cebu because maybe from the statements of General Bucayo, there were two O-plans which were mentioned. And precisely from there, we would be able to come out with how they came out with the names of the 19 inmates who were transferred. Kasi sila po ang nagplano nung sumunod na operation. Gusto po natin malaman kung paano nila pinili yung 19 na tao. So, Mr. Chair, I think we need to finish with the statement of General Bucayo so that we can interpret him on so far as Oplan, Galugad, and Oplan Nomad stated in his statements are concerned, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. Vice Chair Lechon.
Yeah, for the record, and with all due respect to our distinguished congressmen, our colleagues in Congress, for the record, I was one of those who among requested for the issuance of subpoena for General Bucayo to be here and air his side, considering there were several insinuations and allegations against his person and against his character. Now that he is here and going about through his affidavit, it may be in a form of general denial, but regardless whether it's a general denial, specific denial, it will be up to him, to the detriment of the general, to put his defense. But nonetheless, in the essence of fair play and justice, we ought to hear the side of General Bucayo, and it will be up to us, members of Congress, to interpolate and test his credibility, especially as regards specific allegations of the different inmates who allege that General Bucayo was indeed part and parcel of the grand conspiracy in the deterioration of operation and management of the Bureau of Corrections. So I stand to my opinion that he be allowed to air his side, and afterwards, members of Congress be allowed to interpolate and test his credibility. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Mr.
in view
Chair.
of that explanation, can we now proceed in order to not to delay the proceedings that we have now? After all, our distinguished colleagues could ask questions after the resource speaker could speak.
Just as
Okay,
a, just as a rejoinder, Mr.
Congresswoman.
Chair, if we must find the affidavit of General Bucayo of great importance so that he be presented to us, and yet precisely because there is mention of the several O-plans that were being planned. O-plan Kronos, in fact, as presented by General Magalong, had been set aside. I cannot understand, Mr. Chair, if that should be the reason why, in the same breath, we would not allow the testimony of Lieutenant Colonel Ferdinand Marcelino, who is also talking about a particular O-plan that was being planned by...
Anyway,
So-
just to interrupt, the matter has been ruled upon earlier, so let us not raise that as a matter of another matter. But I think I have already cited the rule, Section 10, that gives right to General Bucayo to be heard. And besides, I think, this is not just for the committee to consider, given the many, what do you call this, yung mga media interest in this, and I guess the people would also want to know, and perhaps he might wish to share also to the people and try to clear his name through the media that are present around us. So, I guess the matter has been discussed thoroughly, and unless
Chair.
there are other things to consider, then
Chair.
we may as well already
Mr. Chair.
proceed with General Bucayo.
Yes. Mr. Chair, I bow, of course, to the wisdom of the chair on the issue of
General Bukayo. No? But you see, my little experience as a litigator has shown that it's very difficult to ask interpolating questions on all forms of witnesses. No? Normally, even in court, we listen first to prosecution and then defense. No? Of course, we're not a court, but I find it rather difficult to ask interpolating questions now to all witnesses, no? Regardless of who or why they are here. So my proposal is, yes, we can listen to the general, but may I recommend or suggest that we proceed with interpellation first of the resource persons brought by the DOJ, and after which we can listen to the good general and ask our interpellations. Because right now, number one, we have time limitation. 3 minutes was the time given to us the last time. If we're going to ask all the interpellation questions that we want to ask from the resource persons of the Secretary of Justice and the general, we'll never have the time, and it's very difficult to focus as well, no, on the right questions to ask given the limited time period. So may I
think
suggest?
the matter, Congressman Roque, has been resolved earlier. That was the position of the chair before, but then it was the committee's desire that all witnesses be first presented before they are interpellated, and they will be interpellated all at the same time. So anyway, you are now recognized, Mr. General Bukayo.
Maraming po salamat, Mr. Chair, sa lahat po ng member ng committee at sa lahat ng nandirito. Magandang hapon po. I'm here not only to respond to the invitation, but as mentioned earlier, I primarily volunteered to attend this meeting to clear my name and help enlighten matters of issue. Thanks to the committee for giving me this opportunity. Maraming po salamat, to air my side of the matter and relate situations in Bucor. I'm willing to fully cooperate with the committee in its investigation. Mr. Chair, I have prepared a sworn statement which was already distributed, but I have here with me a summary, a shorter version that summarizes what is inside my opening statement. I hereby categorically deny the claim of convicted inmates of the new Bilibid prison that I requested or received monthly assistance or payola from them when I served as the director of the Bureau of Correction. I have never accepted even a single centavo, nor did I task anyone on my behalf to collect money from any inmate in any prison facility. For the record, I was the 4th Bucor director under the previous administration. I assumed office on March 2013, almost 3 years after the previous administration started running the department. Upon assuming, I was shocked like you to learn of the great magnitude and multitude of the deep-rooted problems of our prison facilities resulting from decades of government neglect. The most appalling of which is that the NBP is no longer a prison, but has turned into a fort seemingly controlled by inmates, a walled community of convicts. All of this did not happen overnight or over the course of my assignment as the director of the Bureau of Correction. These problems persisted long before me, and I trust up to this very day. These alarming and disturbing issues clearly points to a problem with and within the system, a complex problem that developed over the past decades. Given the seriousness and gravity of the problems afflicting the new Bilibid prison, I prioritized the implementation of much-needed reforms within the Bureau, and cognizance of the limitation of the Bucor also enlisted the aid of other government law enforcement agencies such as the NBI and the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Council Committee in combating illegal activities inside the NBP. The resulting plan
was implemented. The resulting plan, which is Oplan Nomad for Bucor and NBI Oplan Galugad, was implemented on December 15, 2014, which extracted and transferred to another detention facility 19 high-profile and high-risk inmates identified to be the main personalities managing illegal activities inside the NBP. This resulted in the severe crippling of their illicit activities inside the NBP. This also confirmed and exposed to the free community the extent of neglect that contributed to the worsened condition of our penitentiary. If I was in the payroll of my accusers, as they claim, I had no reason or incentive to mount a risky, complicated, and dangerous operation such as the one conducted on December 2014. I would also like to take this opportunity to dispel the insinuation that I prevented or preempted Oplan Cronus of the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group as testified to by Police Deputy General Benjamin Magalong during the early hearing before this August body. I had no power or authority to prevent it, as it was directly presented to the former head of the Department of Justice. All I was concerned about at that time was the careful planning of the extraction of the high-profile and high-risk inmates from the NBP to prevent any possible violent confrontation during extraction. This is considering that at the maximum security compound, the inmates numbering to more than 14,000 are not restrained. Wala pong bars doon. And the high-profile and high-risk inmates are embedded within the respective gang as leaders or as influential sponsors of these gangs. And another concern was how to address the bigger problem of where to transfer extracted inmates, since there is no facility under Bucor which can effectively segregate them from the inmate population, even in Bucor's regional facilities. In addition, I was concerned about the legality of transferring the inmates to another detention facility other than the one designated by the courts upon the inmate's conviction. As such, I requested legal opinion regarding the matter, and it was deemed by the former Secretary of Justice that the undertaking is fully sanctioned under the Bucor Manual and also under relevant laws on prisoner safekeeping and rehabilitation. This is to ensure that no legal ramification shall ensue after the transfer of the inmates. To set the record straight, when word started to go around about drug activities at the NBP, many law enforcement agencies took notice and started to develop their own intelligence plans on how to address the problem. Since the NBI was already the active partner of Bucor and PAOK, their plan was regarded to have corresponded to the three crucial concerns vital to the success of the operation. One, who should be extracted and segregated from the NBP. Two, how to extract them without or with less violence. And three, where should they be transferred? The Bucor started preliminary preparation to address NBP problems as early as 2013, 1 month after I assumed office, with our application for membership to the National Law Enforcement Coordinating Committee, Subcommittee on Organized Crime, which was done to boost coordination with other law enforcement agencies and to request for assistance in addressing the illegal activities inside the NBP. Moreover, preparation to address NBP issues were already being undertaken when sometime in September or October of 2014, I was directed by the Secretary of Justice to attend a meeting in PIDEA, which was also attended by NBI and CIDG, wherein activities to address criminality inside NBP were discussed. As a reaction to this, I voice out my concern about the careful planning of the extraction of the high-profile and high-risk inmate from the NBP to avoid violence and the transfer of extracted inmates to a secure detention facility for their segregation from the inmate population. Subsequently, in one of the meetings among the heads of DOJ, Bucor, NBI, and PAOK, I asked the former Secretary of Justice if we are going to inform CIDG on the plan. And she said, no need. It seemed that since there was already a prior coordination with the NBI that time, there really was no need to bring in another investigating unit into the fold. Needless to say, the operation in December 2014 was very successful in segregating the high-profile and high-risk inmates. Nevertheless, undertaking said operation had a big price to pay, including threats to my life and to my family, which has caused us so much distress, not to mention the anxiety of possible retribution from the inmates affected by the operation. Even immediately after the operation, I and participating Bucor personnel were publicly perceived to have been sleeping on the job and that the operation caught us flat-footed. The frustration and feeling of abandonment after that operation were too much to bear, that I tendered my resignation to the former Secretary of Justice on that same day. Finally, in February 2015, I submitted my written letter of resignation to the former Secretary of Justice. Volumes of documents will prove my unrelenting effort to battle the proliferation of illegal activities in the NBP and to prevent its perpetrators from conducting them within the walls of Bilibid. Like President Rodrigo Duterte, I believe that illegal drugs pose a serious threat to our citizenry, and I fully support this war on the illegal drug trade and his initiative to neutralize those behind it. These are the facts, Your Honors. Again, let me put on record that I have no connection nor I have ever been involved with illegal activities inside the NBP and outside the National Penitentiary. My conscience is clear. All I did was to do my job with all honesty and regularity. Nagtrabaho lang po ako. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Chairman.
Of course, you will be interpellated by the members, so be prepared for those interpellation questions.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
What is the point of order?
I think sa Section 9, kailangan i-swear in muna si ano?
Nakatapos na po.
Na-swear in na. Thank you.
So we now go to para lang to matapos ito before we go back to Department of Justice for its last witness, who is Ragos.
Actually, si dalawa po sana, pero kung isa lang, then si Capones po and then Ragos. Si Ragos has not yet been heard. Si Capones has not yet been heard, so might as well.
Pang-ilang witness na ba tayo?
Apat pa sila. Panglima na yun.
Hindi, siya. Pang-ilang. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. 8 Sige. Gusto mo, pagbigyan na natin at wala nang uwian. So, we now recognize, okay po, will si Capones ba? Capones?
Capones and Ragos, kung pwede
meron na
yung dalawa.
bang, may request ba yan for immunity? Have we?
Meron na po.
Hindi po, si Capones.
Meron na po.
Kay Capones?
Opo.
Bago ito di ba?
Opo, pero
ang
kasama yan sa
kaninang
listahan.
ni-request natin si Durano and Arile.
Opo. Ayun po yung kasama sa listahan nung una pa.
Unang hearing meron na. Okay, no problem. So, sige, si General Villasanta, please identify yourself, tapos yung previous position mo. You do not have any written statement, no? As under the rules, kailangan po yon, pero nandyan na rin po lang kayo. and so that we can dispense with this particular issue soonest, so that we will don't have to call you in to call you back. You are now recognized.
Magandang hapon po,
Chairman,
Your Honors.
Mr. Chairman, hold it. The purpose of
magandang
the
hapon.
hold it. The purpose of the role in requiring witnesses to have their statements para naman makita natin where what will he testify about. We cannot put here in a congressional investigation a person without any guide as to what he will say. Baka naman kung ano pagsasabihin niya dito o hindi relevant o hindi. We cannot allow a person to just come here and say testify. Kailangan isulat muna para makita naman natin yung relevance noon. Otherwise, we will be giving him a license to use this committee to state anything. Hindi ho pwede yun. So I'm calling a point of order and referring to the rule.
So yun, actually, we're giving that sana, no? Pero dahil may objection, pasensya na po. If I may suggest, bigyan niyo po kami ng written kahit statement, ano, kung ano yung mga sasabihin niyo, para naman we are guided. While we know that you are the head of PAOK that conducted yung Oplan, ano? Galugad ba yan? Galugad?
We were
part of the contingent that conducted Oplan Galugad. Pakisulat na rin lang. Otherwise, anyway, we have another setting on Monday. That will give you ample time to prepare. We will call you in again on Monday.
Salamat po, Your Honor.
Sige, so you prepare that Monday or what?
Yes, sir. On Monday, Your Honor.
Okay, so
Mr. Chair. Yeah, I am in full agreement with the distinguished majority leader. But nevertheless, may we request the chair that he be allowed to stay here, considering that he went here by virtue of a subpoena or by personal invitation or voluntary appearance. Since he was being mentioned for so many times previously, he should be here to answer those questions relative to the statements of the inmates that were taken during the last hearings. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Another thing also, with these two witnesses who have been previously granted immunity, Capones and Ragos.
Doon po sa chinecheck namin records, kala namin si Capones ay meron ng immunity.
So wala
But kahit wala daw po siyang immunity, magte-testify siya.
Okay, kasi po, yung kay Ragos po, yung kanyang immunity was conditioned that he will tell the whole truth. Ngayon, it appears na hindi niya nasabi lahat. So, this will be giving an open-ended testimony or immunity to this person that they will come here by piecemeal and then later on, sandali, may naalala pa pala ako, then they will again come here and add, or for all we know, they might even change what they've been saying. So, may we caution our witnesses na...
We will do that, Mr. Chairman.
In fact, he submitted a supplemental affidavit. So, si witness Capones, wala pa siyang but he is willing to testify pa rin.
That's correct,
Kasi
Mr. Chairman.
even if he wanted to, nakalista po si Speaker, kanya hindi rin natin makukuha yung immunity na yun to attend to an important...
The Speaker is still there. In fact, he is supposed to attend a wedding, the wedding of our Deputy Speaker, Chedeng Alvarez. But because of this, he decided to not go anymore so that he could act accordingly if such is needed.
Yeah,
That's why I went to check with him earlier, Mr. Chairman.
Great. That is how important the House leadership gives to this very important congressional inquiry. So,
Mr. Chairman, may I just elaborate on this matter? Kasi po, chairman po ako ng Committee on Rules. Witness comes here and is offered a testimony. Maski sa korte naman po yan. Pag naka-examine na yung witness, na-interpolate at lahat-lahat, hindi pwedeng after that, uy, may idadagdag naman ako dahil he could have been coach or whatever. Dahil kung tapos na siya. Precisely, that's the purpose of interpellation or cross-examination. But once that has been finished, he cannot again say, sandali, mayroon pa akong gustong idagdag. Wala na pong hindi po pwede yun. So, as the chairman of the Committee on Rules, I'm calling the attention of the Committee on matters like this na hindi pwede po yung tapos na siya. Kung tapos na siya, kung nakalimutan niya yun, i-subject natin sa kung at mahirap naman po yung baka after this, he will say again in the public na hindi ko pa nasabi lahat nun. So, kaya nga, pag gumawa nga ho tayo ng affidavit, affiant further saith not, sabi nga, wala na siyang idadagdag pa. And he was given the opportunity. And in fact, I recall, he was there, sitting there, and he transferred here. Meron ka ba bang idadagdag? Wala na po. And then later on, after several weeks, then he comes up again with an supplemental affidavit. Let us be careful on these matters po para hindi naman po kami babatikosin ng publiko.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, if I may be allowed, may request for that the witness Capones be dispensed with the testimony. Reading the Capones.
Ay, yung bago?
Yeah. Because reading...
Before that, i-dispense na natin si, para si Baleroso, di ba? Mamaya na po kayo uli, patatawag po uli kayo. Lahat sabay-sabay.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, anyway, going to Capones.
Yes, reading the sinumpang salaysay is nothing but a repetition and definitely a total replication of the statements of other inmates. Parehas lang po siya talaga. Corroboration. Siguro naman, i-request na lang natin that the different members be furnished with a copy and let he be here for any interpellation. Yun maririnig po ng publiko at maririnig din natin, nasabi na siguro nung 10 inmates na nag-testify. No actual and new statements being revealed in the new statement. So, may we dispense with the testimony of, of course, with due respect to our good secretary.
May we hear
That's
from
my request.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Vice Chairman. Actually, hindi po kinorroborate lang nito yung past statements. Ang nangyari po dito, we invite the attention of the committee members, paragraph number 10, na sinabi niyang siya mismo ang nag-abot kay Secretary de Lima. And may I read for the record, to the records. May isang pagkataon kung saan tinawagan ako ni JB at sinabi sa akin na pumunta ako sa kubol niya at dalhin ko ang pera dahil patutunayan niya ang koleksyon ay para kay Secretary de Lima. Pumunta ako at maya-maya ay dumating nga si Secretary de Lima.
Hold it, Mr. Secretary, please do not read into the records the testimony of the witness. Huwag mo natin payagan yun. We cannot allow the good Secretary of Justice to be reading already into the records yung kung ano po sasabihin ng witness para hindi naman po
Apo, actually, isang paragraph lamang po yun. Ang gusto ko lang po sabihin is that hindi po ito katulad ng mga ibang mga witnesses. Kasi dito talagang merong sinabi siya na talagang siya ang nagabot ng pera kay De Lima.
Yes. Like I said, Mr. Secretary, just point to the paragraph for us to read. Pero kung kasi kayo, binabasa niyo po yung testimony na ng witness, pumapasok na po sa records.
Opo. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you po.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
But I just would like to call the attention of the members, Mr. Chairman, doon sa paragraph 10 ng kanyang affidavit na hindi ito katulad lamang nung
but,
ibang
Mr. Chair, we were able to read this one, and this is only a corroboration of what inmate Durano already said, that he personally gave that something to...
Mr. Chairman.
Well, it will be up to the...
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Decision of the chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
I agree with the Secretary of Justice because I think this is a different incident, Mr. Chairman.
This is a different
This is a different incident in which there is personal testimony that money was handed directly. So I think we should allow
the committee,
Mr. Chairman.
The chair takes note of that by
Mr. Chairman.
Majority Floor.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. After reading paragraph 10, I believe that his testimony is material, so we will have to allow him to testify.
Okay, so
Mr. Chairman.
Deputy Speaker.
May I just reiterate my observation a while ago, Mr. Chairman, that some members are trying to substitute their own thinking with the thinking of the Secretary of Justice. I think we should respect and defer if it will not only create a complication,
Okay,
because, as I said, he has the theory of his case.
Okay, let us proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I might feel alluded to that statement.
No, Mr. Chairman. No, Mr. Chairman. I take exception to the observation of the majority leader.
Let me define the jurisdiction of committees in aid of legislation. We are not here to prove a case. In fact, the Secretary of Justice is proceeding like he was prosecuting several people by having corroborative testimony, making it stronger and everything. The jurisdiction of the committee is to look at the proliferation of drugs there in aid of legislation. Sa narinig na lang natin, ang dami na natin narinig, pwede na tayong mag-craft ng batas. But like he said, he wants to build an airtight case. Hindi naman nausgado ito eh. In fact, that is beyond the jurisdiction of this committee. Otherwise, we should have referred it to the Committee on Good Government if we will be looking at possible prosecution. So, as a resource person, we will have to limit his testimony. We are not supplanting his idea or theory of his case, because this is not a hearing. So I, as the chairman of the committee on rules, have to define the jurisdiction of this committee. Thank you,
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make clarification, Mr. Chairman. I was not alluding to the majority leader.
Okay.
I simply commented because it seems that we are dictating on whether it is corroborative or not. If, for example, the Secretary of Justice believes that the next testimony is not only purely corroborative, and the Secretary of Justice believes that the next witness is not only an amplification, but there are portions trying to prove a different issue, perhaps we should give him a leeway, a little consideration.
We have given him more than enough leeway, in fact, in presenting all of these witnesses. In fact, in the mind of the chair, we have a matrix already prepared, and we're just trying to look for, those missing links. On that particular point, in fact, that has been clearly established. So, but anyway, just to be more accommodating, because anyway, we have gone through 3 grueling hearings already, and one other witness may not really be difficult to consider. So anyway, if we can just proceed, Capones, nandiyan na ho ba siya?
Mr. Chairman, now, for the record, it was me who moved that witness be allowed to testify. Now, the committee has now to decide whether is he availing of immunity or not.
The lawyer told me that even without immunity, he is willing to testify.
So we will proceed.
So I would like to thank the majority floor leader and the chairman and your honors for allowing this last witness
So
to testify.
this is the last witness
for today.
So si Ragos po.
If Ragos could be accommodated, then we're much willing, so that we will have more time for Sebastian on Monday.
Okay, sige. So
Chairman?
this will be the last witness as manifested, so that we can proceed with the interpellation para mas mabilis tayo matapos. Andiyan na ho ba siya? Wala pa? Ayan na. Sino po ba ang abogado ni witness Capones?
May I address the committee, Mr. Chairman?
Please, Attorney Topacio.
Yes, my name is Ferdinand Topacio. I'll be the counsel for Mr. Capones, Your Honors. Thank you.
The committee notes the appearance of Attorney Topacio. Ito ba'y kliyente mo nung matagal na o ngayon lang?
Ngayon lang, Your Honor, ang previous clients ko po are Messrs. Martinez and Agoho. Thank you.
Kanina may nagtanong po sa chair, yung kung si Agoho daw ho, ipe-present niyo pa ba yan?
Po, kung hindi siya, inatake siya ng so talagang
What about Monday? Do you intend to present him?
Pwede po.
Sige, so
And Vicente C,
habang
who
iniintay
is
po,
still in the hospital, will be presented also.
habang iniintay natin, sino po ipe-presenta nyo sa Monday para lang maalaman ng mga miyembro natin. Para mai-distribute na rin natin yung mga affidavits nila. So si Sebastian,
Vicente C, who is still in the hospital also.
Ragos,
Renante Diaz, possibly Tomas Dunina, one of those involved in the...
please be guided by the manifestation of the chair kanina na kung yan ay corroborative lang, hindi naman kailangan lahat yan i-present para po mas mabilis tayong matapos. We intend to finish this in the next hearing. So, at saka siyempre si General Villasanta pa, no? So we will have about 4 or 5 also on Monday.
And we will also present Romel Falcasantos, one of the close in security of Secretary de Lima, and NBI agent Isidoro.
Agent Isidoro, dumami you know ba, are they proving different points?
We
different matters?
undertake not to prove any corroborative evidence to present the corroborative evidence. They will be testifying on entirely different thing.
Siguro para po for a better appreciation of the committee, anyway, we will have time for that. Bigyan nyo kami ng synopsis man lang so that the committee secretary will be well guided of what to expect on this particular witnesses.
We will do that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Nandiyan na?
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
I understand from the names mentioned by the Secretary of Justice that Ragos will again be presented this coming Monday. The Chair will note that earlier the majority leader has made an opinion that if he has already been presented, he cannot conveniently come and again present himself to testify anew on the basis of a supplemental affidavit. May I know now from the good chair whether or not we will allow Ragos despite the observation of the majority leader?
Well, yan po ay nagpaliwanag lang naman po si Majority Floor na ina-advise lang niya. Pero I don't think he was objecting to it. I hope I understood him correctly. So that kung sa amin pong sa committee, nung binasa po yung kanyang mga pahayag ay importante rin kanya nung kami po ay nag-meeting nung mga nakaraang araw with the Vice Chair after the post-mortem that we did, we are in agreement that this testimony is also important. So we are in fact prepared to hear him now, but then due to time constraint, ay ipinagpapaliban na muna natin ba?
Kasi ang sa akin na naman, Mr. Chair, is kung meron tayo on the basis, again, of the observation of the majority leader and following that observation, na kung ang isang resource person ay pumupunta rito pagkatapos magsisinungaling or he will hold his punches, then later on he wants to change his mind. Changing his mind, for example, to tell the truth or the whole truth now, para namang hindi maganda yung mangyayaring ganyan, no?
Tama po yun, but you know, the need for this additional testimony as determined by the vice chairs plus me plus some other consultants had these were all considered, and we did realize that it is necessary.
Mr. Chairman.
With
Anyway,
that, with that is-
Deputy Speaker, the witness is already in the committee. We can discuss this later so that we can already proceed with the testimony of the next witness.
I don't need to discuss
Mr. Chairman,
that,
the member,
Mr. Chairman. But
the
in
chairman of the
closing,
Rules Committee
I
is here. Why
defer
don't we
to
not ask for his
the
opinion?
decision of the committee.
Yes, why don't we ask for the position of the chairman of the Rules Committee since he is here, Mr. Chairman, with regards to that matter raised by the Deputy Speaker?
Since the chair has already said that the chair, including the vice chairman of the committee, has already decided to allow Ragos to testify, then I defer to the decision of the committee, Mr.
Maraming
Chairman.
salamat po. Can we now proceed so that we can terminate this this hearing for today earlier? So, Mr. Secretary, you now have the
Yes,
you're now
Mr. Chair,
recognized.
will Mr. Joel Capones stand up if you are here already? May we ask, Mr. Chair, that the oath be administered to him?
Pakitaas po ng kanang kamay. Ako,
Ako,
pakisabi po ng pangalan,
si Joel Capones,
ay taos-pusong nanunumpa
ay taos-pusong nanunumpa
na magsasabi
na magsasabi
ng katotohanan, buong katotohanan, at pawang katotohanan lamang.
pawang katotohanan lamang.
Kasihan nawa ako,
sana
Ako.
nawa ako
ng Panginoong Diyos.
ng Panginoon Diyos.
May I proceed, Mr. Chair? Mr.
May we know the purpose for which this witness is being presented?
After some statement on immunity, Mr. Capones, Ginoong Capones, ang akala po ng DOJ team ay meron ka ng immunity na nakuha nung pang first hearing, pero wala pa po pala. So, ikaw po ba ay handang mag-testify kahit wala kang immunity ngayong araw?
Opo, handa po ako mag-testify kahit wala pa po akong immunity dahil lahat po ng sasabihin ko rito totoo lang po naman yung sasabihin ko.
So, may I offer the testimony of the witness, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Secretary, saan po bang kaso na-convict ito si Capones, Mr. Capones?
Murder po.
Murder. Okay, maraming salamat.
I proceed, Mr. Chair. The purpose of Mr. Capones' testimony are the following. That he is to show that he is the commander of Sige-Sige Sputnik at the maximum security compound at the NBP. That in December 2013, he was summoned by Sebastian and told to sell drugs to fund the senatorial campaign of Senator De Lima. That in exchange for funding De Lima's campaign, he will receive privileges and protection. That he acceded to the request of Sebastian and proceeded to deal with Shabu and was the recipient of perks inside NBP. That in February 2014, he was introduced by Sebastian to Jadel de Vera, nephew of Secretary De Lima, who will become the collector of De Lima in the drug trade. That there was an occasion where he was summoned to the Kubol of JB to prove that Shabu collection went to Secretary De Lima, whereupon he was told to bring the money. And he personally saw to it. He personally saw that JB...
Ako po si Cathy San Gabriel. Subscribe na sa PTV YouTube channel. I-click lang po ang subscribe button.